Can you become a ghost in Kingdom Come Deliverance? Technically, yes. If you save scum and master the game's stealth mechanics and also memorize how each main quest works. I mean, there's even an achievement of finishing the game without killing anyone. So the game was kind of made with the intention of going through missions without killing targets. But I don't really recommend this unless you like stealth and pacifist challenges. However, what I do recommend is to play the game as closely as you can as a ghost. Meaning you will attempt to become a master of stealth and complete objectives without your enemies knowing what happened. And so I'm making this ghost stealth guide for Kingdom Come Deliverance for those who want to try and play as a phantom, hunting the cold nights of Bohemia. Also, I'll try to make this quick since KCD2 is gonna be releasing in less than a month. And you should try and play as much of the first game as you can, experiment with builds and immerse yourself in the world or something like that. Anyway, let's start with my first tip. Do not reload if you get caught committing a crime. Now in typical stealth games, ghosting means not being detected, ever. So this means that if you get spotted by an enemy, you reload the level and start again. But because KCD is an immersive RPG, I really do not recommend doing this. Because you see, the game has a crime system and even perks that relate to being caught, like getting strength buffs when you are wanted. So when you get caught pickpocketing or trespassing in an area, either bribe a guard or make a run for it instead. Now since you're playing as a ghost, you don't want to fight and kill the guards that chase you. Instead, look for a way to lose them. Jump into a thick bush or go straight to your horse and just ride away out of town. Do whatever you can to escape, but just make sure you are not killing anyone. Trust me, while this may feel wrong at first, the game's crime mechanics, reputation system, and other immersive features will align together and make you feel like an actual rogue or ghost in medieval times. With this being said, let's go to tip 2, which is finding abandoned houses to wait out crimes or go to another city. So depending on the crime you commit, you will be wanted for some time. For instance, if you are caught pickpocketing, you'll likely be wanted in town for a couple of days. What you can do is you can look for houses outside of town where you can sleep and save. If you have enough food to last you a couple of days, you can just sleep and eat until you're not wanted anymore. Or maybe if the area has some wildlife, you can hunt some rabbits or deer. Alternatively though, you can opt to just go into another town and do some questing there. Cause you see, in KCD, being wanted in one town doesn't mean you are wanted in all of them. The reputation system makes it so that you have a different reputation in each town or city, allowing you to live as a free man in one place while being a known criminal in another. As long as your crime is not murder, you can go back to the previous city, and your bounty should be gone in a couple of days. Next, let's talk about those dogs that guard the houses you want to get into. Basically, you want to buy some meat so you can distract those darn dogs. In KCD, some houses will have guard dogs that will alert their owners at night if someone steps into the property. One unique stealth mechanic in the game is that you can drop meat onto the ground near the dogs and they will be distracted by it. They will start eating the meat and will decide to ignore you. This will allow you to explore the area without any dog barking and breaking your cover. For buying meat, just go to butchers in towns and buy rabbit or horse meat. I think those are the cheapest. Then when you are near a dog, just go to your inventory and drop the meat. They should start smelling the air and eventually approach the meat you dropped. Now if you're going into houses or sneaking into enemy camps, you have to be silent. You need to dress as a ghost. You see, in KCD, there is a noise mechanic and even a noise counter for your character. The higher the counter, the noisier you are. So if you're wearing full-on plate armor, you will be clanking and making so much noises that the enemy will hear you miles away. So instead, you need to opt to wear clothes that have low noise stats. However, clothes that are silent tend to be a bit expensive, especially at the start of a playthrough. So what you can do instead is to just take off your clothes and make sure your noise stat is around 15 or lower. Alternatively, the YouTuber Trial by Squire made a comprehensive thief guide where he showed how to get silent gear at the early levels. Link to the video is in the description, check that out. Next, to play as a ghost, you need to not be killing enemies unless they are your targets. This means that you have to opt to knock out enemies instead of killing them. Now this can be done easily if you are sneaking at an enemy camp at night, since you can just knock them out while they are sleeping. If you have good stealth level and gear and luck, you might even be able to knock out a whole camp without them knowing. But since KCD is an RPG that leans on realism, there will really be moments when you are cornered and have to kill a non-target. Honestly, I'll allow this. It's great also for your internal storytelling, since your merciful Henry is now forced to draw blood when he doesn't want to. Then speaking of enemies, you should note that in some main quests, it is possible to get NPCs to come with you, so they'll fight enemies while you hide in a corner. Now, I did this in my pacifist playthrough as I've found that in the main quest, every enemy encounter can be encountered with an NPC alongside you. Though sometimes you have to manually speak to a specific NPC so they will come with you. An example here is during the investigation at Newhoff. After you learn that the bandits went north, you can go to Captain Bernard. He will then ask one of the guards to escort you. You can then let this particular guard deal with the bandits that you will meet in the objective area, allowing you to not have blood on your hands. Next, let's talk about the best time to commit a crime. Obviously, it's at night. So when you have quests that ask you to steal, pickpocket, or even assassinate someone, best to do this at night. In KCD, NPCs have daily schedules and most of them will be sleeping in houses after dark. There will be less resistance and you should be able to trespass without issue. Just make sure to remember feeding the guard dogs. Also, make sure you are carrying a torch at night so guards won't stop or even chase you. Now, while a ghost should be unseen, having speech and charisma can help during moments where a violent encounter seems to be unavoidable. Basically, having high speech and charisma can really get you out of trouble if you're trying to play as a stealthy ghost. You can persuade guards to let you go or even unlock certain dialogues that open up a new route to an otherwise unavoidable sword fight. Plus, this also helps sell the ghost/rogue fantasy since you can roleplay as a charismatic normal citizen during the day that is kind to everyone and then become a deadly assassin during the night. Oh, and in some cases, you may even be able to persuade highway robbers to let you go if your charisma or speech level is high enough. Lastly, remember that there is no shame in running away. While exploring the wilderness of Bohemia, you will surely be stopped by some robbers or even humans who are blocking the roads. In a standard playthrough, you may want to fight and kill them so you can loot and sell their items. However, if you want to be a ghost or just aiming for a pacifist run, you can opt to just run away from them. Do make sure you are on a horse that will not buck you out. If you decide to run on foot, those enemies will catch up to you and you'll likely be caught in a fight. Then if your horse is cowardly, meaning their courage stats is low, it is also possible for them to buck you out into the ground, giving the enemies free hits that would eventually kill you. So yeah, if you're running away, make sure you have a good horse. And so yeah, I guess that's it. Go and be a ghost in KCD.